All right, we are live here on the air. I want to say good evening to all of you tonight. So I sit in the back part of the studio, some of the back part where a lot of the work goes on back here. A lot of stuff goes on back here. I'm in the back part of the studio, and believe me, you don't wanna, you don't believe, you don't understand what's back here at this moment. So certainly, we're happy to have you on with us tonight for the men's round table, and we're looking forward to tonight men's round table. Listen, we're getting ready for the women's show. I'm doing an announcement before my guest pops on. Tomorrow night is women round table. We have Lady P back with us, and she's taking the women's talk to the next level. So you don't want to miss on tomorrow night with that at 8 o'clock, women's round table, and we are certainly happy about that. Listen, Wednesday night Bible challenge. Don't forget to be there Wednesday night. And then on Saturday high noon, there will be a funeral. And I mean, it's going to be a live one for the cowboy. We got the lineup, we got the flyers and everything getting ready to go out. It's going to be a good show. We're going to have some church up in there. And then Saturday night prison show. We're going to be back with the prison show. And then Sunday back with the secrets in the church. And then moving forward to our other shows that we have. It's been a wonderful week and a great weekend. I hope and trust that you have a good one. Good evening, Pam, all the way from Dallas, Texas. That's one of the board members that's on here. And it's good to have the board members on. But tonight I want to talk about it's a man's world and what it means. Men and women don't like to hear the word man world, but it is. It's a man world. If we go biblical to go where we're going, in the beginning, God created man. Man was the only thing in this earth outside of animals. And then he said, Adam, man, you name every creature, and then I'll get back with you once you name them. And Adam named them and then called God. God came and he said, you got it down who they are. Yeah, this one, that one, this one, this one, that one, that one. This is the alligator, this is the bird, this is the dog, this is the horse, this is the cow. He named everything. And God told man, Adam, you named him. And still there was no sign of Eve yet. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was made in the clenches, but she was not to be revealed until the assignment of man was completed. And when man completed everything, and he said, you finished up everything, I'm done, but I see you all alone. So I'm going to make you an helpmeet. Who is the helpmeet? The one he pulled from his rib cage while he was sleeping. Pull out of him. And when he woke up and he brought her to him, he said, she bear flesh of my flesh and bones of my bone. And he said, she shall be called woman. Y'all gonna talk to me? Dr. Bard is here. And he said, she shall be called woman. And he named her. And he pulled her from the rib cage, which is his protection. That girders the lungs, the heart, That's where the ribs sit at. It girdles everything, the liver. She's a protector of him on the inside. So many problems. So the problem that we're having with our women, they want to protect us from the outside, but leaving us vulnerable on the inside. And that's just too much for me to go into right now. But I'm just describing a man's world. When you're dealing with a man's world, you don't get a chance to come in and alter the man's world. You have to accept that man and know that you are living in his world. That's why your last name change. That's why you become Mrs. Whoever you married to. And you sure can't be married to no woman. I'm just gonna put that out there because she can't die for you. It told a man to die for the wife, even as Christ died for the church. Some of y'all crazy to die for a girlfriend. He ain't told you to marry no girl, but be with no girlfriend. Die. He said marry your wife, and she must be flesh of your flesh and bones of your bone. It's something wrong, and I'm using this metaphorically. It's something wrong when you ask your wife speak with your wife and you speaking in English and her behavior is operating like a dog. I don't get it. That means she can't be part of your your being if she barking like a dog. And how do they bark? By their behavior. They meow by their behavior. But we got Dr. Bard here, and I'm gonna kind of fall back for a moment, and I'm gonna bounce back in here, and we're gonna speak about a man's world. I want the women to understand when you're dealing with a man's world, this is what to expect of us in our world. And if you can't handle it, then you need to be single for the rest of your life. Dr. Bard, good to have you on here tonight. And certainly we're glad to have you back. It's been a long 2 or 3 weeks for you.
Yes,
But
sir.
you back.
Yes, sir. I'm back in the
I
house.
can't hardly hear you. You know you like your microphone turned down. Turn that microphone up for me.
Let me see something. Wait a minute.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, he's turning his mic up. I'll push it by to 21. While he's making ready for to get his volume up, we want y'all to understand what a man's world is. It doesn't mean that a man's word is excommunicating a woman. That's not it. My man's world also include the woman because God brought you to us in our world. So you are to remain in our world. It's your behavior that matters in our world. So Dr. Boyd, that mic working fine now? I can't hear you at all now. I don't know what you done did. You were working fine a minute ago. No, I can't hear you, man. Go to your mixer and pull that mix up. I think that's what happened. Oh, you done mute yourself. Unmute yourself.
What about now?
Say something?
Am I here now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Now turn your mic up.
Wait a minute. It's not recognizing my mic.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, it's not recognizing my mic.
Say it again.
Hmm.
There you go. I hear you good now. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, good evening, everybody. Good evening. Good evening.
Yes, sir.
Truly, it's been a long break, amen. And thank God for the holidays and all those different things that have taken place.
Right.
Good evening, my brother. Good to be back with you on this man relationships and marriage, real men talk conversation, amen. Round table talk, amen.
Yeah.
Uh, And I'm glad to be back on the show, and you bring up an interesting topic that,
Mhm.
um, and I know what you're saying when you say understanding the man role and understanding the man's position. And of course,
Mhm.
we can talk Bible all day because, again, most of my biblical
Right.
concept, most of my principle falls within the parameters of the scriptures.
Right.
And but the problem is that every man will run his house different.
This is true.
Um, every man, I would look at the 12 tribes of Israel. All of them were different in their personalities and characteristics.
Right.
And sometimes what I think what we make a mistake at is to try to make Reuben function like a Judah,
There you go.
and
This
then
is true.
you get Judah to try to act like Reuben, because
Hmm.
every man comes with strengths and every man comes with their weaknesses.
That's true.
And most men ignores their weaknesses, trying to compensate for their strengths.
Right.
And for me, I had to learn how to both be strong and weak.
Right.
I had to accept the weakness of me in order to govern my house.
Right.
And when I know where I'm weak at, then that is the one. That's the area I solicit
Right.
uh, help and helping to govern
Right.
your weakness. One of the things that I found that was unique about the body of Christ
Hmm.
is that the body is put together to protect itself.
Yeah, that's just true.
And so it is when God put us together. There are some things that helps us to protect ourselves, not to uh, ignore them or whatever, but face them, and then
Right.
face them with the lowest attitude.
Right. Right.
And the problem is that most men today haven't been brought up in those characteristics and those qualities. Most of us got it Johnny come late,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
um, and implementing principles that should have been taught in our youth. Um,
Right.
and this is the reason why I feel like it's a 30-year, 40-year gap
Hmm.
in a man's reaching a maturity versus a
Hmm.
woman's reaching a
Hmm.
maturity. And so, but anyway, and when you become a man, some of the things that men complain about, what women do or whatever, I think any man, my wife comes with her strength and she comes with her weaknesses.
Right.
And I have to embrace her weaknesses like I want her to embrace my weakness.
Right.
Not in the
Right.
area of moral sense, but in the area of psychological or emotional things.
Right.
One of the things that's hard for me and my weakness is hard for me to be emotional.
Right.
Um, it's not that I can't. I'm just don't. I have to think real hard, or it has to be the news have to be pretty traumatic for me to, I was putting a mix together yesterday. I mean, last Saturday, and I put Charles Levert and Charlie Wilson together,
Hmm.
and when I played the last song, man, the mix was jamming. I'm missing Levert. Listen to some of the songs he sang, the lyrics and everything. And then at the end, I had made plan to play his in my song, the last song. And when his dad came on and introduced him, I remember that day when they announced Levert had died, you
Yeah.
know, and messed up our world. It's several celebrities I remember. But anyway, let me say, but when it got to the end and he says, "My son's desired song that you hear this song or put this album together." And I remember at that very moment, it took me back to that moment when we lost him. And tears, I was fighting back tears.
Right.
It's like, man, that was Levert. You know what I'm saying, man? And,
Girl, the birthday.
yeah, so I got a little emotion, but I had a hard time letting no emotion go. I couldn't cry in front of my wife. You know, she was standing
Yeah.
right there with me, and she could see that it was touching me, but
Yeah.
I couldn't be emotional. So sometimes I'm not able to be that person, and I have to, carry myself because
Right.
sometimes I can try to put that facade on that I'm being strong, but I
Right.
have to learn how to be weak. You know what I'm saying? I had to learn how to be weak, and for her to console me, and
Right.
that's the thing that most men do. They handicap their wives
Right.
because they trying to hide that weakness. They trying to
Right.
hide that part of them that they don't want them to see because they feel like they're gonna take advantage of it, or it's a way
True.
of trying to protect yourself from it.
Right.
But
Right.
when you can embrace it, and I mean embrace it with as God is your protector and not yourself.
Right. Right.
So if I'm going to govern my house according to God, if I'm going to if my house is going to be, it's a lot of work. And so we always think we are presenting the finished product when it's still an ongoing project.
This is true.
No man completes his task. I got my house the way I want it. Well, you got it. Yeah, exactly right. You got it the way
You got it the way you want it. Yeah.
Yeah, you got it. This is the way you have confined yourself to just being this way, and this is the reason why relationships suffer because you so what you want to say you trapped into a matrix of your pain
Right.
and lost your purpose
This is true.
because now you're more about protecting yourself.
This is true.
I don't want to. You know what, man? This is me. When I became a man, I didn't give a flying flip what kind of woman I had. It was no woman I didn't think I can be able to live with or live with me. She wanted. I mean, that's just my mindset. I
Yeah.
never had my picks and chooses. I'm like, you want to be with me? You can be fat with a kickstand, eating ice cream on the back porch. Amen. You want to be with me, man? That's gonna we're gonna make
That's all that matter, huh?
all that matters at the time because I want to be stable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
man.
want to be with stability, and I want somebody that's gonna challenge me. I don't
Right.
need nobody that's gonna be yes to everything. I love some of the things that my wife will fight me on. She'll stand up for me on. I
Right.
love that. But some men see that, you see, that's them women, they trying to run things. They ain't running things. I want my woman strong. I want my wife to be strong. I want her to stand for the family. I want look at her. I ain't saying she got to be the protector, but she gonna give you hell till I get there. You know what I'm saying? You know that's what I'm talking about, man.
You hear me? You hear me? Show me something.
Man. So but the thing is, she picks up my personality. She carries. So when I look at a man, and most men when they start to talking about their wife, I wonder what you despise about her is what you despise about yourself. I wonder what you despise about her is what you despise about your mother. Come on, because that's a train of thought and process that did not derive just when that relationship came in. I know I'm talking good. It didn't happen when you got into that relationship. It was already pre-existing. It just that the relationship brought exposure. And when you are running or when you are angry and you trying to dominate and you ain't do it the way I told you to do it and this the way I want it done, are you picking up them characteristics that you didn't like about your own stepdaddy or, so man, it's so much into how a man's house is built. And I think Jesus said it best. A man that built his house on a foundation. When the elements and winds and storms, your house is falling down, it's clearly your house ain't on the foundation.
Yeah.
That's one thing that's one thing, Bishop, I got tired of. 2 divorces mean that my house, and the Bible says, if the strong man had known what hour the thief would come, he would have been, in so many words, ready and would not have suffered his house to a loss.
Right.
So when I started losing, where I grew up as a man, I started separating. You know what? This is solely on me. And it's solely on me because I don't have the wisdom of God in my life. I'm too
There you
busy
go.
trying to do it or trying to
Come on.
reduplicate what I saw my grandfather do. Too
Yeah.
busy trying to take pieces from what my stepfather did or what I
Right.
saw and what I looked in other people's catalogs of
Ain't that
relationships
America?
and
Ain't that
then to glean from it and say, okay, I want that in my marriage. Now I had to look within. And when I discovered myself, then I was able to see clearly who
yeah.
can best help me.
Right. Right.
That's not somebody, and I don't mind, some men talk about, they treat women like they second class and all that kind of stuff. That was me at one time. I had to learn. I'm not saying a woman, we equal in responsibility. I don't look at marriage as 50-50. There ain't no such thing. I have to be 100% husband as a man. You have to be 100% woman as a wife.
Not that 99 and a half, huh?
No, ain't no 99 and a half. And it's going to take me the rest of my life to get to that 100%.
Yes, sir.
It's going to take me being faithful to get to that 100%. So
right.
when I get to that 100%, man, I'm saying farewell. I fought a good fight.
That's it.
The course.
I finished my course.
I done finished my course. So, but most of the time, most men think that this is a couple of ideas and put a couple of ideas together and this is going to make my house. Now, I'm telling you, if you ain't building that thing on the foundation, I had to learn. Paul said, I had to count all things lost that I may gain Christ. And until you go into God's house,
that's it.
Until you look at how God set things up, you ain't going to have a clue.
That's true. You don't have no idea what's going on.
You ain't going to have no idea what's going on.
You don't have no idea. You just talking. You don't know what's going on.
When you see somebody, man, that building, you know what, Doc? It took a young man. He was about 2 years older than me.
Mm-hmm.
And when I met him, my house was falling. And I got with him, man. I've been in church dominantly pretty much all my life. I can count probably about 5 or 6 years that I was not in church. And still at that time, I made in and out visits.
That's true.
But I known church all my life. And I'm going to tell you something. It's not too many men. And I'm just being real in my circle, in African-American circle, that I can look back at that and say, man, that man that ran his house.
That's right.
I learned more what not to do than what to do. And most of the men that was surrounded, they was male chauvinists, to be honest with you. They think the wife just responsibility is to shut up, cook, have babies, lay down, that kind of thing.
Right.
And our generation had drastically changed.
That's true.
Back then when the wife wasn't working, amen, and couldn't work because society, the social, how men felt back in that day about women working in the workplace, you could say that. But when now that market opened up and women's are able to get
that's another old ball game.
Now the ball game don't change. So you can talk all that about she can go in there and cook and everything. And no, you need that income now. You know what I'm saying? You need that. My wife make twice as much as me. She triples what I bring in. I never let that intimidate me. Because at the end of the day, it wasn't about who had the most.
About making sure we got across that line.
Yeah, I didn't. And then when people was, when we was going in counseling, people was talking about, our economics, in which we know that's always going to come up. And when she said what she said, I made her say it. And it was like, well, how do you process that, and all that? And I'm like, hell, to me, she ain't got no job. That's
look, fair deal with me. I don't care if she do make more money than me, which I'm going to make sure she never do. But If she do, she ain't paying no bills. I'm paying all the bills anyway. So you ain't your money ain't nothing but a plus for you to go do whatever you
I
plan
don't pay
on.
all the bills, but I do pay the ones that matter.
You hear what now? That's what I'm talking about right there. Now. That's the
Pay the
one.
ones
You
that
got the
matter.
water.
Amen. So,
Yeah, you got some water, some bacon, and you got some law eggs. Look like they selling for $5 an egg now.
yeah. So hey, and one of the things when my wife got laid off, she was very distraught about it. She was really, because she's like one of them hard go getters, and and we took when she told she was laid off and everything like that, and she would get distraught. I went in there and got the crown and got that Coke, and I said, hold your glass up, let's toast. And she said, why are we doing this? I said, because it's not. I said, this is our test, and we toasting God to what He's gonna produce out of it. And I told her, I said, remember what I said, you didn't have no job. So I never panic.
Because of her job. It was always on you the whole time. See, that's
so my mindset was always, if I didn't look at your income, because if I look at your income and say, well, you got to pay this, you got to pay that, and when you lose that money, I ain't going to know what to do. But see, if I never put that in my factor, I respect the fact that she makes what she makes. And matter of fact, what I do is just the opposite. I don't mind her making the money. Now I can't pay all the bills. Hell, no, I can't pay all the bills. Not especially not now. But I got a God.
That's it. That's
the make a way. He shall supply all my needs according to His richer glory. So I never got to the point where He made more than me. She don't have more than me and God together. Amen. Because He gonna make a way. And he gonna make a way. And I got a good relationship with Him. And I was talking about this, the greatest. What he don't understand is this. The reason why, and I took my brother Elder Ross, he was teaching on Thursday night, and I got that revelation when he was teaching about men and about the 1 Peter chapter 2. And he was saying it was 6 verses for women, but only 1 verse for men. But that 1 verse,
flip it all, Doc. Flip it all.
That 1 verse had a greater impact than the 6 for the woman. When Peter said, when you have division in your home or your wife, he said, that to the man, your prayers are hindered.
Woo.
Man, what is money? You ain't got no prayer.
That's you trying to go to church. We ain't going to no church. Come on over there.
So, look at him. That's our greatest. I got communication with God. I can ask what I will, and it shall be given to me, because God understands the role that He created me in.
That's it.
I ain't got to have numbers to say that I'm the man. I ain't got to pay all the bills to say that I'm a man. I ain't got to say I got to have a job because I'm a man. I didn't become a man until I got into a relationship with God.
That's it. Now that's the truth.
I had to be, listen here, as Paul said, I count all things, Lord, I gave up all to follow Christ. I didn't understand that at first, but I had to give up even my shortcomings. And the reason why I gave up my shortcomings, because I do know sin can have a grave effect on your prayer life.
That's true.
That's when you find that discipline. See, that's where God develops the man. How well can you discipline your body? Don't come talk to me when you pass 50. I don't even want to talk to you. You're not even in this conversation. Because this is, you can talk about what you don't do, what you don't do. Let me go back 30. Let me go back 20 years. Let's pick up that conversation then.
Yeah, we talked then.
We talked then,
Yeah, we talked then.
But I had to grow in my discipline, not because I want a longevity marriage and I want a healthy marriage and all that. I needed my communication with God.
That's true.
I needed to keep my communication open. And that's why I'm willing to be honest. That's why I'm transparent about whatever I do.
Right.
Never,
Now that right there, a lot of people, lot of men don't want to be transparent. If you bringing a woman into a man's world, you have to be very transparent with her.
of course, you if you hiding it, it's because you still got it.
There you go.
You
There
know,
you go.
that's why you don't want her to know, because you don't want, you try to hide it with the lies, you try to hide it with, putting your attention on something else. But at the end of the day, that's gonna come, and that's going to be the downfall to your marriage. It's going to be a downfall to your house, because the Bible said, he that hideth his sin
That's true.
shall not prosper.
That's it. As long as you hide, but if you can confess it,
If you can confess it, not patronize it and say, well, I had this young minister with me, and man, he had. I'm telling you, when I moved to Dallas, I thought God had cursed me. I ain't lying. I came to a whole nother world. I could not believe. I knew we were bad back home, but we wasn't they bad. Boy, he's some jokers down here don't have no consciousness.
Ooh, no nothing
whatsoever. I mean, I ain't saying we didn't have it, but they hit that real good. They had that fraternity, kind of like what they call it, that group of people, the with the little G, you know what I'm talking about.
What are you talking about?
Eastern
The
Stars
Mason,
and all
the
that.
Mason.
Mason, yeah.
Yeah.
They had theirs on lock back home. But then when I got to Babylon, oh my God.
They tough else, man. It's
Man,
like another whole
these
world,
jokers,
man.
boy. I mean, man, I was like, hell, if I'm gonna be a hoe, I wasn't gonna get in no pulpit, be no hoe. That was just, I'm sorry. I couldn't understand that. But these jokers, man, they had one life at church and one life at the, and didn't have no shame about it.
No, ain't got no shame.
One time one of the young ladies that he was fooling with got to reaching out to me, because when he was no longer interested in them, he, dismissed them like you do. And no longer interested in them. And so when the young lady came to me, and I was like, now I'm being nosy. I ain't gonna lie. I know when I'm nosy.
Right.
I was like, how did y'all get that far? And he's a minister.
That's the first thing.
And she said,
the first thing.
He told me that, yes, he's a minister, but he's a man. And he said that me being a minister had nothing to me being a man. I'm still gonna be a man. I'm still gonna have my need. Right. And I listened to him, and I said, and you fell for that?
Ultimately fell for it.
I mean, but she was saying he was right. He was a man. I said, I am too. I said, hell, I think I told one lady that too. But I know that I'm a man, but that does not give me a license.
That's it.
To not practice my faith.
Right.
That's my faith in God. That's my relationship with God.
Right.
Now, with me and my wife got together, and I know people being nosy want to know, how did you and your wife do it? Or was that, I said, you know what? We put a contract together. And the reason why I was practicing abstinence, doctor, not because I was wanting God to make the marriage work.
Right.
I was not practicing abstinence for this one thing. I didn't want to tie nobody to me. And I see a red flag.
Yes,
and I can't break that tie.
Yeah.
I done connected to them illegally. Most of the time, the reason why their house are crumbling, because they're fighting for a house that they don't own, number one. Number two, you have already violated your covenant
Wow.
relationship with God by entering into that relationship.
Wow.
So when you go in there, you coming in on broken mechanics, but you expect to have heaven. You expect it to be heavenly. But when you come in like that, old folks say it like this, it ain't Bible, but it should have been how you start.
How you go in.
Oh,
How you go in.
you can't start one way and then get in the middle of the game and say marriage is going to change everything. No. What you start with is how you going to finish. So it's the thing that when you start that way, so I had to practice that abstaining until we were married. That's why we had a series of things going on. And I remember having a contract with her, and I told her, I said, look, when we start dating, we're going to get in this contract. This is a man, not no boy, man.
Man here.
This is a contract.
Right.
Protects your singleness.
Right.
You are still single while we are dating. The purpose of this dating is to come, because I'm too old. I ain't got 3-4 years. Let's see what it do. I got a plan. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got 50. I'm 50. I was 50, just getting 50 to turn 50. Yeah, I'm about to be 50 years old. I ain't got time to be going through. We're going to see how it works and just see how it go. No, I'm going to know how this going to go.
God have mercy.
And if you enter into this contract and we put everything in, when it came down to the dating rule, the dating rule was to remind ourselves that we still single, so we can still date whoever we wanted to date, because we still single. But it was a clause in there. You must notify me, or I got to notify you if I decide to do so. That's just the bottom line. Keeping a level of what? Honesty.
That's it.
That's it. Well, then Pastor Boy, y'all stayed absent. Come on now. Some days we lost the fight, man. You know, we lost the fight on some days. I ain't scared to say, you know, some days that bed got too hot, you know. But at the end of the day, you know what? We got up, we asked God to forgive us, and we said, you know what? This is not going to continue. And I was dead serious on that. You know, so we had to rearrange some things or something, you know, but I didn't have no problem because I had to be disciplined while she was in my presence. And I was telling, I teach couples this in marriage. If you ain't disciplined in your sex before marriage, you're not going to be disciplined when you get married. Because I'm going to tell you something, marriage ain't no darn license for you to have sex.
Sure ain't.
That's what some men use marriage for. You gonna do it outside. Make it right. It ain't gonna be. It's not made right because you got married. You just got married when it's still wrong. Because the moment she don't lay down with you is the moment y'all gonna have problems. The moment she ain't doing her tricks. Come on here. And when you stop doing your tricks, that's gonna be a problem.
Oh,
you ain't got nothing else. The marriage has nothing else to motivate it to stay together. There's no motivation after that is gone. So
I'm trying to tell you.
So
you're gonna wind up with nothing.
So I learned to be disciplined, Doc. I learned to be disciplined. I learned to stay focused. If I wanted stability, I was gonna have to put my best foot. And we did it by 8 months, because the rest of it after the dating, we got engaged. Because I told them, man, this ain't gonna be like your little. Like when we would date with kids, we gonna go out to eat. No, this is every dinner is business. I want to see your what the guy. I want you to get a physical. I'm gonna get a physical.
Show me what you got.
I want to see everything. I want you to know I'm not bringing no nothing into the marriage, and I'm sure I'm gonna make sure. I want to see the one the doctors got, not your version. I want the doctor's version.
Yeah, I want the doctor's
version. I want to see your birth certificate. I want to see female on that bad boy. You know what I'm saying? I want to see
not transgender, but female on that bad boy.
I don't want to see nothing, none, no comment. I don't want to see none of that. I don't want to see none of that. As one preacher said, I want to know you was a noun, not a pronoun. So I'm just, man, shoot, and it was serious. and we even got our credit scores and stuff and everything like that. I was looking at her credit scores. I looked at her credit scores, looked at mine. Both our credit scores was shaky, but I tried to, and I told her, I said, and that's the reason why at the end of the day, my wife was making X amount of dollars, but she had she had a debt ratio that consumed, and of course, if you're making $100,000, you're gonna be living in $100,000 bracket. You know?
Right.
Well, that money gonna be consumed up in there. But it was gonna be, we were gonna come with a system how we can be better managers of our debt ratio.
There you go.
I know I'm coming in. Some debt I will have. I will have a debt as a house, and I will have a car, because those are two priority things I need.
I believe it.
I'm being debt for that. But going in debt for some shoes and cars and games and all that stuff, no, that got to be manageable. So we had all that, and then we got all that together only for us to go to a mutual counselor. And I'm talking about building a house. We had a mutual counselor that didn't know neither me nor her, and we paid them. And Lord, did we pay.
You ain't got to tell me, Talk. I know all about it.
We paid for hours, and I told them they're going to even get 4. And every time well, you need 5. No, we don't need no 5 or 6. So y'all do y'all ask for too much money for letting us talk.
That's it. They try to get that more.
And then we had the second, that was the first 4. The other 3 was going to be one with my pastor. I gave him a session, and then we gave the last 3 to the person that was going to marry.
Right.
So the first 3, and the reason why she needed, and I tried to break it up because I wanted her to see the side of by me being a pastor, because there were some things I shared with her when we was dating. I said, you know, you become don't get in this first lady stuff. I don't get it. That ain't in the Bible. That
I'm so sick of that. I don't know what to do, Dad.
Be yourself. This ain't gonna come out.
Man.
Be yourself, and people will respect you and
love you. Out of that trash, man.
But don't let them put that first lady stuff on you. You ain't got to get up and sing if you don't want to. You ain't got to get up and bring no word if you don't want to. I expect you to be, if you're going to do anything in the church, do what God gifted you to do. And if that's picking up paper, then pick the paper up. Let them call you what they want to call you, but you be yourself. You be yourself, because you never can be a hypocrite when you yourself. So when she did those things, man, it revolutionized. And it really opened up. And when they came to her, she would tell him in the hubby, don't call me first lady. You ain't got to call me. I'm Sister Boyd. And that's what she always referred to us as Sister Boyd. So when she did do all those things and followed that cap, then those things is what brought about the peace. Because they could never, I remember she called hell, Bishop. She called hell. Ladies that was in the church at that time, man, I thank God for them. And she came to me talking about somebody had put a room out on by her and everything like that. And she was upset, boy. She ready to go parking lot. She was parking lot upset.
I
told her, I looked at her. I said, you know what? I said, welcome.
Yeah.
I said, if this is what you inherit. And I said, I'm not here to tell you what you should do. You're gonna get with them, do what you're gonna do. But at the end of the day, you're gonna have to face God.
That's the end of the day. I'm telling you.
So I said, this ain't gonna go away. This is not going away.
This is true.
You're gonna have these issues. You're gonna have these challenges. And again, this is what I said. I'm not going to tell you I'm gonna put a stop to this. They're gonna respect. I ain't put a stop to nothing. because you show me how much faith you got in God in doing it. And you have to know this is gonna come in. It's gonna be.
And it's gonna come because of who you are.
Yeah, it's gonna come. So if you can't handle that type of attention, you might not want to say I do.
You might want to go on about your way.
Because this ain't going away. This is what I'm calling. I said, God called me, not you.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to put the emphasis, well, your wife is just as part of the ministry. No, she wouldn't. She ain't gonna be on that judgment seat with me. She ain't. I can bet you. You always talk about
you carry your identity.
I tell my wife we just as equal in the church as we is in the. He's the pastor and I'm the pastor's wife. We the one that, yeah. When I bet you come down to judgment day, I bet you'll accept that separation. Shoot. Yeah. I bet you ain't no we then. It wasn't no we when God called Adam.
This is what you call secret in the church information. We got to bring you back on those secrets in the church.
Man, shoot. But I tell you, man, I feel like I learned, and young guys listen to this, Barker. Let's listen to this later on. This is over time. This is not overnight.
Right. Forget about overnight, baby.
I had to build my house, not according to pastor.
That's right.
Apostle, bishop,
all that other stuff.
All the motherfuckers that was in the church. YouTube couldn't. They give me some ideas, but they couldn't give me wisdom.
No.
And when God gives you wisdom, you have to build. You have to get the material that He say build. And I learned that through the life of Noah.
Right.
Noah built the ark according to God's instruction. If He said get oak for wood, whatever that wood was, He didn't say use what you got. Gold material. He didn't. No, if that was some hard wood you got to cut, if that's some challenges you're gonna face with, then you got to get it. You got to get it. Because it's not acceptable to compromise and go get something else. Because what you're building it with, it's got to last 40 days, 49 plus 3 more other months later on where your family can be safe. And the problem with relationship is that you got me protected financial, but what about spiritual?
Doc, get away from there. We got to come back over there on the secrets of the church. Boy, you talking good, boy. You talking good, sir. But you got to come back to the secrets of the church with this one. We talking about a man's world. And that is a part of the man world. Can you cover that woman spiritually and natural? That's a good question, though, Dr. Bard. I can't negate the fact of that one. Ooh. And you got a whole lot of women wonder why they in trouble because they ain't covered spiritual.
No, they ain't covered spiritually.
All this part of the man's world, though. All this is part of the man's world.
It's part of the world. Yeah, yes, sir. It's a part of it.
And if she can't handle that, his world, you need not to get in this world. Because his world gonna bring some tornadoes, some tsunamis, some hurricane, some thunderstorms, some flooding in your world, in order for you to become his world. You're not coming into his world for him to adapt into your world, but you're coming into the man's world to be adapted to his world. So whatever storm is going on with him, get in your rightful place, which is in the rib side of him, and protect him on the outside, on the inside, while he protect you on the outside.
I saw you brought that up, and we have to rely on utilize God's system of protection.
Right.
How do God protect Israel?
Mm-hmm.
Showed us He protected her even in her adultery.
That's the truth.
he never allowed her to change him.
That's a problem. That's the problem.
And when you get men who is too
Weak.
arrogant to be like God,
You're in trouble. You're in trouble.
But what Adam's accountability was is that you stepped not what you did with your wife,
That's
but
what
what you first did to me.
That's it. That's it.
Because we look at the sin system differently from God doing. You know, as the old folks, what the old men say, two sheets can't. Two white sheets can't regulate themselves.
Why you wait, boy? You know which way back you got that way. That is so long.
Man, they had some things, man, the way they said things, but they wasn't lying.
I'm talking about get your attention, apple on apple and
yeah. But at the end of the day, we was not taught that value system.
Yeah.
Where men, when they come in, you talk about protecting your wife within. I had to learn, and this is my greatest downfall in my marriage. Now, I had a hard time. I be praying and praying. My wife said to me one day, and I didn't like it when she said it, but she said, "You pray for everybody else, but you don't pray for me."
Woo!
When we're together, when I'm going through. And I'm like, I do be praying for you. And I pray for you in my private time, and I pray for you and all that. But then I never do pray with her when she's going through. You know, I kind of like keep my distance when she's going through. And when she said that, it didn't bother me right away. But after a while, that thing got to me. And I said, you know what? I'm like, man, I'm going to have to do better, man. I'm not covering my house in that area spiritually. If I can't, cover her, in our most intimate time with prayer, So I had to open up. And you know what? It was hard. I ain't been consistent with that, but I did not realize how hard that was. I realized that it's easy. And it's almost insulting that somebody can call me right now and I break out into prayer. But I see my wife walking through the house, hollering, screaming, going through with her pain and stuff like that, and I won't say nothing.
Whoa, man.
And then got the audacity to say to her, if you wanted me to pray, but I did make this, I always had a comeback. I always said, well, you got to understand, I pray with them because they asked me. I don't go and just say, hey, you need prayer. I got my prayer hustle. I want to pray for everybody. I said, but I did. But the Bible allowed me to kind of whip my behind in that area because what the Bible says, if you see your brethren in a fault, you that a spiritual, restore him. Right. When I see my wife in a fault, I'm fussing and cussing. I'm not using spiritual meekness.
Right.
So how are we going to cover our house if you cannot be the way God tell you to be, but you can put that front on in the church? That's what the problem was back in the day. Yeah, with some of the leaders that we grew up with, their house was tore from the floor. They looked good.
Yeah.
They looked great in the church. They was first lady and how much I love my wife, but I seen them holler about how much they love their wife, but driving separate car or can't be together. And I'm used to ride with them, man. They quiet in the church all night. You couldn't hear nothing. You couldn't, you can almost hear that tension. You can feel that tension in the car.
Ooh, Lord.
But when they get up in that church, in that pulpit, there go my beautiful wife, there go my star and my crown, there go my whatever,
And they just got through telling each other off so bad.
And I told my wife, she was wondering why I don't say nothing about her in the pulpit. I said, because I'm not fit to start lying. I'm not fit to start lying. I may feel what I feel. I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. But them jokers that say them niggas be lying. It's all I know, man. That's just.
Come on, man. Stop living the hypocrisy life, man. Come on. Stop living the hypocrisy life, man. That hypocrisy life. Come on.
So I talk about it, but I'm just not gonna talk to her. Let my wife come on, stand up, baby. Stand up. Let me let everybody see who married it. Man, I ain't got time to do all them that, man. Them gay. But if that's the way a man feel, that's the way he feel. That I ain't got nothing against that. But I'm just saying, don't buy into the, the commercial. That's all it is. For some of them, it's just a commercial. Because you can tell men that really solid in their house. Yeah, you can feel their energy.
Right.
And I do know some couples back in the day. Man, they wives and their husbands, they almost look like twins. They so together. Yeah. I remember they did things for each other with nonverbal communication.
That's right. You knew what the other one wanted. I remember that.
Man, what? You talking about? Man, the union of one.
He'll be here.
They didn't have to talk, man. They can just look at each other and say, yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. I'm like, what y'all didn't say nothing.
Yeah.
Because they know each other thought, or they can complete each other's sentence without, man, shoot. Man, I tell you, boy.
It's like a needing a hashtag now to find something like that, Doc.
Man, I feel sorry for y'all. I feel sorry for you. You should have got in when it was getting good, because now I feel sorry for my prayers are with you.
That's what it goes. I remember the woman got ready to pick the phone up, and when she got ready to pick the phone, she hung the phone. I said, "You gonna call the man? He'll be here in 15 minutes. Watch." She went on back in the house, got his sandwich ready and everything. By the time she finished, he coming in the driveway. I looked at my wife. I said, "How you know that?" She said, "Babe, I've been knowing that man. I've been in that man's world for over 20 years. If I don't know him now, I don't never know him." You got people that's in relationship, been in marriages for 20 years, and don't even know what the man or the woman sandwich they're going to eat. That's just horrible, man.
Well, and again, broken mechanics. You have broken mechanics coming into, and I think all of us going to have some areas that it's just like a house. If you were building a house, there's some room you're going to immaculate. There's some room that's going to take more time to build, Yeah. But if you don't take the time to, there's some areas in my life, me and my wife got to build together. We building the next generation.
That's right.
We got to build, but we didn't do everything right with our own kids, but you can best believe them grandbabies about to get the best of us.
As a make up when we messed up with them with our grandchildren.
So that's why I said, we grand, we ain't parents, so
and they need to learn that. They need to learn that grand means just what it means. Grand.
Yeah, grand. That grand is a definitely what they say, it's a prefix.
Yeah, it's a separation.
Yeah, it's a prefix. Yeah. I'm not parent. I'm
not obligated to nothing.
I moved on. The Lord has blessed. Has elevated me to grandparent. I got grand wisdom. I got grand input. I got grand love. I got grand everything.
I'm
grand. That means I get them when I want them, and you come get them when I want them.
That's it. When I tell you to come get them. Listen, our time is about up. We got a minute left here, and we enjoyed Pastor Bartle tonight. This is going to be a part 2 here, because we're going to come back and really get in that deep of a man's world and what it means to be in it. But before we go, we're going to have some church Saturday. We're going to have some church Saturday. I mean, we're going to have some church. The Lion and Steak Friday. It's going to be Friday at high noon. The Cowboy, we're going to have them Lion and Steak. Come right back here to this channel. We're going to have them Lion and Steak here. And then on Saturday at 12 o'clock noon, we going to go to church. We go to church. We go to church here. We go to church. I feel like hooping right now, but that's all right. We're going to move on. We got a preacher coming. When I tell you he can preach. Woo! Oh, Lord. We're going to have some church here. We're going to have some
what app you using? I know you're using the app.
You don't know what I'm using, Doctor. Musicians is ready. We hot in pipe, Doc. We hot in pipe. But we're going to have some church Sunday. I mean, Saturday, 12 noon. Look for us, 12 noon Saturday. We're going to put the Cowboys away. We're going to put them away, too. Look.
All right, I can't stop this thing now.
But we going to church, Doc. We going to church Sunday. They
You
gonna
are?
be some hand clapping and some feet stomping. Come here Saturday, high noon at 12. We gonna dance.
Amen. Looking forward to
dance.
it.
You hear me cheering? I say we gonna dance. We gonna dance. We gonna dance, baby. We gonna dance. Yes, indeed. So it's good being on here tonight with Dr. Bard, and we gonna see y'all next Monday night.
I miss my boy, man. Where he at? He working?
They don't tell him what Dr. Steve is in there. They don't tell him what he's doing and where he at, Doc. And he was his intention was to be here, but he got so much going on in that classroom out there. Ain't no telling what he got smashing with that. But he'll give a ring in. He's actually you was in and he was out. Now he's out, you in, and y'all both ask for each other.
Hey, that's what brothers are for, too.
Yeah, we'll catch him next time. We'll catch him next time. But
man.
Yes, sir. Tomorrow night, y'all be back. The women's show will be on tomorrow night. And certainly
Pam.
Yeah, Pam. You don't want to miss it. She got some guests with her tomorrow night. It's gonna be very interesting. And you want to be there to see it. All right, we'll talk with you guys the next time. Thank you, Dr. Bard. And we are getting ready to get out of here. Yes, indeed. We out of here.